What's up, guys? Running it back with another replay for you, and this one is going to be the first of a best of three set from our 3x3 Matrix Grand Finals against Nerexa and Charix. Two of the best players. Nerexa probably the best in the Domination community right now. Charix up there on the leaderboards as well. And we're going to see who wins this best of three set. It's a good one, I promise you. You're going to enjoy it, so strap in, prepare for some really good games here. So, just to start off, we're going to just watch this come in. Might as well. Then we'll talk about the builds real quick. But Blue Fire, Kairos, obviously. Just that. He's got Scroll of Destiny. Wanting to cast a lot of magic this game is Tzeentch's goal, as you might expect for the Lord of Change. There's going to be some Scurvy Dogs on the field, lots of deckhand mobs, some polearm variants, and regular variant. 4 handgun units, Night Terrors in the middle of the formation, Noctilus, Summons, Wraithstorm, Moondial, Invos, and the like. Lots of blue and pink horrors, some Marauder Spears to cap and fight against Morghuls. You're pretty good at that. A Fire Cultist with Burning Head. Don't need much more than that against zombies. And Kairos in the sky as well. He does have life leeching. Get a little bit of a rebate on any blue fires and the like that are cast. A little bit of damage going in from the blues and pinks, and a fat Burning Head in the back line here, wrecking one handgun. Missing these two here, tickling a little bit, getting a little bit of damage, but this handgun also getting absolutely nailed there. Taking a lot of damage, almost all of their health gone already. So, karate chopping with that first cast. Getting like 800, yeah, 730 value. Pretty good value on that magic, but frontline fighting is getting a little messy, and a lot of these blue horrors, man, they're a little too far forward. They're really getting beat up on, quite honestly. And Nerexa is starting to pull a value lead with having crumbled out 2 units of the blue horrors right off the bat. Getting a Wraithstorm on top of the Sour Guts, but not getting through the barrier, so a bit of a waste there, unfortunately. Lots of summons coming down. One here, one back here to get on these pink horrors and support the Night Terrors, who are doing quite a bit of work right now. You can see these guys just being big, ugly, and angry, basically. That's what they're best at. And they're doing a good job of getting some good damage over there in that fight against the pinks, while this unit of pink horrors intercepted by another Morghuls, although these guys do have some fellows with long sticks supporting them there. And doing some pretty good work helping out. Another Burning Head coming in, roasts out one unit of handguns, does a lot of damage to this unit, putting them down to crumbling range, and they'll be gone in a moment, getting their last few shots in against these blue horrors and dealing with them. And one healthy handgun unit left. Really good Burning Heads, killing all of the gun line, pretty much. Some Furies, they're helping intercept Scurvy Dogs and doing a pretty good showing of it. One Scurvy Dog here, getting a little bit of value and just being a nuisance. Getting in on Zangors, who are clearing out some deckhand mobs right now. Morghuls, they're getting shot at by the Sour Guts. At least one pink horror, probably the most important of the bunch, is at least safe, and they're getting some pretty good value firing against the Night Terrors, who are going to peel out here. They do get hit by blue fire, and they've been getting hit by, got hit by an army ability and some other blue fires earlier, but they have pretty good spell resistance on them, as opposed to other Morghuls, which don't, so they actually really aren't taking any damage, and I think the missile resistance also applies on top of that, so basically immune to those spell casts, which is kind of crazy. Amazing Burning Head. They've just been they've been fabulous. That really is all there is to say. 1200 value on that Firecaster, roasting down the zombies, getting good damage on Morghuls, although the spears are terrified, and the point is flipped to the forces of the Vampire Coast here. And the poor pink horrors, man, really not able to shoot. They've gotten okay value fighting in melee and getting what few volleys they have been able to, but not paying for themselves, unfortunately, which is leaves a lot to be desired. A pink horror is finished off here by the scurvy dogs, and another unit comes out, intercepted by the Furies. Good play by Charix. But this is a losing combat for those Furies. Just a few too many hounds there for them to deal with, and it's a very squishy unit to begin with. Night Terror's getting a good rear charge, certainly going to put these guys down to crumbling range. Demonic Instability is pretty nasty, so isn't super well accounted for in damage values either, so Nerexa probably up even more than it's showing right now. Very strong out here on this, what's the left flank for him. Lots of Mournguls and deckhand mobs out here. Decent little presence on the middle as well. Although the pink horrors here, the Sour Guts, starting to kill the Night Terrors, who really haven't gotten their full value. Although they've been doing a good job of getting kills where they can, and have caused a bit of crumbling and gotten some good terror routes on some infantry targets. Back here in this little pocket, Noctilus has found the Cultist, not wanting to let this guy get any more casts, although one final Burning Head does go down before all is said and done. Getting some good damage on those pole arms and deckhand mobs, but Noctilus is killing the hell out of this guy. He's running, Noctilus with the big halberd, trying to get the killing blow on him. Is he going to be able to do it? Surviving with 165 HP. But he is shattered, so that's it. Noctilus, good control by Nerexa, not over-pursuing there. And immediately getting the very tanky Count Noctilus back into combat against these Marauder Spheres, where he'll just win this fight eventually. And he won't really take any damage either. One of the most durable lords in the game. Back here, these Mournguls crumbling out, getting shot up by the Blue Horrors, but another unit of Mournguls moving in and getting on top of these guys and doing a lot of damage. Doing a very good job of intercepting reinforcements, getting crumbling across the way on these Blue Horrors who are, you know, struggling a little bit, man. The Blues have not gotten to shoot much this game, and they are pretty poor in combat. I mean, they're technically better than the zombies, but they have low leadership as well. They actually have worse armor than the deckhand mobs, and deckhand mobs crumbling just doesn't matter to them. Not nearly as much as demonic instability. So overall, excuse me, very favorable for Nerexa. Although, Knights of Immolation out on the field. Very punchy unit for the fourth quarter here, man. And killing these Mournguls, helping the Blue Horrors here. Probably going to help get rid of these deckhand mobs. It is worth clearing this up so that this half-health unit of Horrors can move up. I mean, they would probably win the combat, but it's better to just help them out a little bit when you can. Rotting Promethean gunnery mobs out on the field. Lots of armor. Going to be a lot more resistant than Mournguls to the attacks of the Knights of Immolation, which is going to be really nice for Nerexa. We'll see how he handles getting these guys around the field. They are pretty slow, but not going to matter too much when they've got 120 armor, pretty much. Not immune, but basically immune to the pink horror shooting. But an army ability I don't know about. That's going to do a lot of damage to these guys. It says Gaze of Fate is popped on them, but they're moving around an awful lot for a unit that's supposed to be pinned. Has worn off, but they're taking a lot of damage from this army ability. Taking about half their health off, man. Wow, oh, wow. So this is going to be the opportunity for Charix to kill this unit, and he really needs to get on that, because if I'm just going to slow it down for a moment. There is almost a triple cap going in for the Forces of the Undead. There is a double cap. It's not quite triple cap range, I believe, for the Forces of the Undead here. So really going to need to find a way to get some of these objectives back, at least one of them. Some Zangors, they will beat these deckhand mobs eventually. It's going to take them a little while, but they'll be pretty healthy when th're done. Although some Mournguls coming out to help, that's going to swing that fight pretty heavily. in the favor of the Tzeentchian forces. And these Rotting Prometheans in a really bad fight. They're really low. They got nailed by that army ability. I think they did get an invo, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that popped off earlier. But a little bit too late. They're crumbling now, attacked in the rear. And Kairos, even though he's not a great melee combatant, he does have decent armor piercing, so he'll do a little bit of poke against these guys, and that'll probably be enough to get rid of them. And the Sourgets are going to get free here. They have a little bit of ammo left, pretty good value, and are going to be able to do some good damage. Knights of Immolation, bouncing to a new target. Does look like they've been using Searing Torment to some effect so far. And killing the gunnery mob here. Maybe going to help a push here in the middle. And it does look like the number 3 objective. Last time I looked, it was a pretty strong position for the forces of Tzeentch, but Scurvy Dog's coming out to help the zombie summons and getting rid of all these tattered Zangors and Marauder Spears and a healthier unit of Zangors that was fighting. 217 kills without paying for yourself. That's a big fighting undead kind of moment. Scurvy Dogs getting on top of the Furies surrounding them. It's a very expensive unit. Really good job getting rid of them. Marauders, though, going to come in, and they're definitely going to do some good work here. Going to help clear out this objective, and they're going to swing it eventually, but the Undead holding on to a triple cap right now. Evening out the ticket totals is pretty brutal, and the Zangors did lose that fight on the number 1. Running for the hills, got beat up really badly by the Mournguls there, who were just chilling out, waiting for their next round of combatants, and happy to hold on to this point here. Blue Fire coming in. We're going to see how much damage it can do against these guys. Really not that much. I do believe that the missile resistance is coming into play there. I believe it counts as a missile attack, so that is pretty favorable. Pretty nice for those Mournguls to withstand all that poke. Really good Gaze of Fate, though. I believe that's the last one. Getting on those Mournguls, although they are technically still moving. They're creeping up into combat there. It's a little annoying. I would be pretty frustrated seeing that, but it did give the Blue Horrors a chance to fire. They did some pretty good damage against those guys, but it's a losing combat. These guys do have the hunger, so they're healing passively in combat, which is really nice for them, and it does not imbue any fire weakness. So having that missile resist and the hunger, gonna make them pretty hard to deal with, honestly. Pretty interesting tech choice for the Vampire Coast there. And doing a lot of work clearing out all of the infantry targets. That's really all you've seen so far from the forces of Tzeentch. Really nothing large to come out and be fast and intercept other than the Furies. And the Doom Knights, who don't have any AP. Although it doesn't really matter. Mournguls are really low armor, but no answers for the Promethean gunnery mobs, except for that army ability and swamping them. So, very scrappy game. Charix is pulling the value back a bit, but the healing that has gone in on the Vampire Coast is certainly playing a big factor in still maintaining such a dominant presence on the battlefield, with some very punchy units, 2 Mournguls, lots of zombies. Having just the cheapest possible summons is really nice for the Vampire Coast. And as I said, it's a pretty even fight against Horrors, as long as the Horrors don't get to use all their ammo while these guys waddle their way in. And Norex has just been so on point with getting these Mournguls into combat before these guys are able to throw all their stuff in. A Burning Head does go down. It annihilates the zombies, but I think it also nailed those Zangors, or the Marauder unit there, doing a ton of damage, and another army ability coming in. Here in the 4th quarter, gonna basically annihilate everything here. Zangors, they're on death's bed, so maybe trading for the for those halberd mobs and a little bit of damage against the Mournguls is worth it. Although Nerexa doing a good job of pushing away from it with the Mournguls. Maybe dropping it back here would have been better, but Charix is really just desperately trying to get on this point, feeding value, because these guys are just taking attacks as they try to move past. Aren't really fighting very hard right now. Although it does look like they're turning to face combat. I love the little blues. They're such goofy little units, man. But I would hate to fight against them. They're pretty nasty little creatures. Those disgusting little mouths of theirs. Zangors, or sorry, the Marauders up here, getting trounced by just hordes of scurvy dogs, and it's going to be a flip for this objective again. And the ticket totals are looking really grim for the forces of Tzeentch right now. Huge lead early on, but bleeding a lot of value, and Nerexa swinging a big lead here in the fourth quarter again, getting a lot of good work done in the middle with those Mournguls. Although they are crumbled out now, Knights of Immolation have been doing a great job of getting around the battlefield and cleaning those guys up lately. 1,400 value on them. Pretty decent amount of juice left in the tank for them. And Kairos, not a ton of value. Very disappointing performance from him, but he does provide a little bit of effect on the battlefield here in the late game. So we'll see if he can make it work. These Furies, man, surrounded by hounds yet again, getting wrecked. Not able to stop the cap since they don't have any weight. And, man, it's going to take forever for these blues to get up there. Or is Tzeentch going to be able to do it? It's so close now. They are going to capture this number 1. Zangors did clear this objective out. The number 2 is definitely going to swing eventually for Tzeentch with all of the units here. But it's still going to take some time. And the double cap is still in for the Vampire Coast. If he got the cap now, there would be a minute left, and maybe he'd be able to do this. He does have time to capture the number 3. There's not a lot here for the Vampire Coast, so I don't know if he's going to be able to do it in time, though. That middle cap not swinging in Tzeentch's favor for so long here in the late game, really, really being painful. Stopping... Oh, and a good job of stopping the Blue Horrors from getting up on this point with all these tattered units. They do just barely manage to get the toe on, but they're not going to be able to outcap in time, I don't think. Zangor's moving up, and I don't think it's going to be in time. Definitely not going to be able to swing it, and I think that's going to just be game. Amazing. Absolutely insane game there. Just the carnage across the battlefield, man. You can see where the Burning Heads went down. Really well played by both of these players. Just doing good work, man. Nerexa doing a great job with the Scurvy Dogs. Getting good rear charges on a lot of infantry units and just harrying the points over and over again. Taking advantage of the lack of mobility from Tzeentch in this matchup is, you know, something I really didn't think would happen. You typically do see a little bit more mobile unit, a few more mobile units from Tzeentch, but Charix opted to go really wide, which I don't think was a bad idea, certainly. But maybe one Centaur of Tzeentch would be nice. Cut a Fury, and maybe a Marauder, and I think you'd have enough. If not, you can cut a Zangor and get another Marauder, or something like that, I don't know. But really well played regardless, and certainly I think if just given a little bit of extra time would have had that game there. But, you know, the objectives are the objectives, and sometimes you live and die by them. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Just showing off a little bit of the values. Doom Knights, man, they were great. Just couldn't quite carry the game there at the end, but certainly made their best effort. And, I don't know, maybe you just bring a cheaper Lord and go even wider. Kairos really didn't show his stuff there. Those casts of Blue Fire on the Mournguls really didn't do much, so I don't know what you do. Maybe you could focus down Noctilus, or just focus on clearing the chaff, and then go after the Mournguls, but easier said than done. Regardless, take care, guys. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. I'll be putting up the next best of 3 game, and we'll see what happens in that one. GG's. Peace.